I think if I hear you call me Becky one more time, six-pack, I'm gonna pop your tops. All six of them.
Hey, this is Matt once again. Welcome back to another review. This is another PayPal request for Grade B. Thank you so much for that. And one of my thoughts on the 1971 film THX 1138. Now, pretty much the story goes, this was George Lucas. I believe this was a student film and then got into a theatrical film. Sadly, the only version I could find was a special edition that he did, which he added some CGI enhancements, which was annoying because they were noticeable. Because I'm like, nope, that's not a scene from 1971. I can damn guarantee you that. Like this little car chase. And I'd never seen this film before, but I damn skippy know that this extended car chase in the third act with the CG additions was not in 1971. And I couldn't find the original version to watch. With this said, this was an interesting viewing to see how George Lucas got started, where you have Robert Duvall, also Donald Pleasence is in the film. It takes place in the future, where everyone's bald, they wear these white uniforms, sex is prohibited, they're forced to take these drugs to better comply so that they can better work. Yeah, better work to be complacent. And it's the type of future where there'll be people who die because of accidents at work, but then on the speaker they'll go, we've had less deaths than over there and we should be proud of that, you know, that type of thing. And maybe taking a little nod from 1984, George Orwell, that type of material. The police are these android robot looking figures, which I didn't mind the look of them. I thought it, for a lower budget movie, it was a good looking flick. It was interesting that early on George Lucas got these people like Robert Duvall and Donald Pleasence. Granted, I think also because Francis Ford Coppola was good friends with George Lucas, and I think Francis Ford Coppola helped get this movie made. So maybe his influence got some of these actors involved. And in a way, I mean, the movie's very like a sterile future, since sex is prohibited. When they go in their little rooms, there's holograms of ladies or such, and little devices for masturbation, and the only TV they have is this hologram type of technology. And the actual story is that this girl who's roommates with Robert Duvall, she changes his drugs so that he loses the effect of that, so that they could both kiss and have sex, and then things kind of take a turn from there, where his mate is taken away and Donald Pleasence put in there. And then because the drugs are not being taken by him, he screws up at work. And then they try to correct it and it makes it worse. And then he gets arrested for drug evasion. And then he's put in this, this prison where everything's white everywhere with a few other people. And then the third act where it's the escape. Now, it was interesting to watch, like I said, to see George Lucas where he was before he would go on to do Star Wars. So it was interesting on that level. I like Robert Duvall as an actor. He wasn't able to showcase a lot of emotion or anything because of the story that's being told, which was too bad. Because that's one of the flaws. It does feel a bit too cold, a bit too, how do I put it? By the characters, most of them being so cold or so not being able to showcase a lot of emotion, it's hard to feel a lot of emotion. I don't know if that makes sense. Part of me wishes I would have seen the original version to see like all that was how people originally viewed this back in the day. But it was really more of me being invested in the look of the film. How George Lucas utilized this on a low budget and how the film looked more than the story. I got more invested in the look of the film than the story of the film. Because this type of story I've seen done in other places, Equilibrium. You're in a future where you're taking drugs that suppresses emotion. But Equilibrium, I think, is a far better movie than this. And there's been other movies too where it dealt with futures that are similar to that. The Escape, I mean, the two, Robert Duvall, Donald Pleasence, they meet this third guy, and that was somewhat interesting. But at the same time, that's when the budget limitations kind of set in as well. Because I wouldn't say The Escape was that exciting. I mean, it was actually to see them go in this area where these bodies, and one goes, there's nothing in there. Or there's a little bit of a car chase. You did some nice stunt work with these stunt people and the android cop get up. And some nice flips and crashes of look like they really, really hurt. Again, some really nice stunt work. It doesn't end on a downbeat BS cheap shot ending. But at the end, it still felt a little bit empty. I don't know what it is. It just, I can't say I was that fulfilled on an emotional angle with this movie. I know that, again, that probably doesn't make sense to people. And the special edition, the CGI editions, does take one out because they're noticeable CG editions. Like when Robert Duvall, near the end, there's these weird ape-type creatures, and you can tell they're digital. Like I said, there's an extended bit of the car chase where it's completely digital, and again, you can tell. Like I said, the 70s, 70s sci-fi films do intrigue me. Whether it be, of course, Star Wars and Star Trek the Motion Picture, and what was the one I'm thinking of? Logan's Run. Using that 70s technology, but then using that to showcase the future and what it looks like. You did some inventiveness or some creativity or this fun. It's a future, but it's a retro future because it's the future, but they're still using ancient technology because that's what they had in the 70s. So I just, Alien, that's another good example of that. So I am a sucker for that kind of stuff, that 70s sci-fi angle. Not even angle, but that look of a film. But see, that's the thing. I'm talking more about the look of the film. Not so much the story or the characters. Like, I like Robert Duvall, but that's just because I like Robert Duvall as an actor. I can't say there's really anything that tremendous about his character that drew me in. Donald Pleasence, Sally, I love Donald Pleasence as an actor. At times he got a little bit of irritating to me. Because he'd be talking, but to me it's like he's talking about nothing. It's okay, I get that he's talking a lot, but he's not... I'm listening, but I'm not hearing anything. Yeah, I can listen to him, I'm listening, but I'm not hearing anything. So it just... Quite the opposite of Halloween, where when Donald Pleasence talked, you did hear and listen, because that dialogue was a lot better. See, the funny thing is, I reviewed a film Lucas would do after this, American Graffiti. I'm like, wow, this dialogue's actually pretty good. Maybe someone else wrote it, I don't know. That we don't know. But this one... George Lucas, it showed us that Lucas is not the best when it comes to human stuff. Technology stuff, sure, but not the best when it comes to human character stuff. And so, I mean, like I said, it was interesting as a footnote in George Lucas's career. It was interesting because I'm a sucker of sci-fi, 70s future, but 70s technology. It was nice that it wasn't a downbeat, because a lot of the 70s films, they were cynical. And so they have these sucker punch endings to try to hook you, because that was a cynical time, just like today. It's not a bad ending or anything of that note. It's worth a watch for curiosity's sake. I don't see myself really rewatching this again, though. Like I said, there's films like Equilibrium and others where I would rather rewatch those instead. So yeah, interesting to see, but not something that I will remember going on forward from here. Other than I like not only the look, but I mentioned I like the look of the cops, the police android, the way they look. I think that was pretty cool. But yeah, other than that, thanks for watching. Take care. We'll see you guys later. Bye-bye.